Coach, I know obviously it's just a couple of games here where the rhythm's kind of been found, but do you feel like now that you have the whole team kind of together and you're able to stack these wins against these top teams, that the team's kind of unlocking something, figuring it out together?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a rhythm. I mean, those are two very different games. I think the competitive spirit and togetherness, we had to play really hard tonight to put ourselves in a position to win the basketball game. We set a season high for catch and shoot threes with 29. A lot of those were uncontested. We were 2 for 16 on uncontested threes in the first half. I feel like, we left a lot on the table, and they did a really good job, I thought, of not allowing us at times to get the matchups that we wanted with some of their scrams. They have a great defense. They communicate well. They're big. They're athletic. They're strong. But we weathered some missed shots, did a good job of taking care of the basketball, limited them to 13 fast break points and 10 second chance points, made them play in the half court. Our guys really competed on that. They left everything on, they emptied the tank. They emptied the tank on the defensive end. It was fantastic.
JJ, Houston played some huge lineups, and I think you were small for a pretty good portion. What allowed those units to have success, and what's the key when you're in those formations against a team like that?
Well, defensively, it's just packing the paint and getting rebounding. I think we did that tonight. LeBron 8 rebounds, Austin 8 rebounds, Luka 6 rebounds, Doe 6 rebounds, Gabe 4 rebounds, Vando 6 rebounds. That's how we have to control the glass is by committee. This was very explicit. If you're on Şengün and Adams, you're not going to get the rebound. Your job is to box out. It's somebody else's job to come in, tip the ball to a teammate, or grab the rebound. We were great with that tonight.
When we were in Memphis, you told us that you liked the way that the team kept going to Dorian on the three-point line, even though he was missing some, and he hit a big one tonight. His best game offensively as a Laker. Have you had to coach him up to be able to keep shooting? For him, it's probably feels strange to shoot 11 threes when you have Austin and LeBron and Luka as teammates. Yeah. But you had to kind of unlock that in him?
It should have been 14. He should have shot 14. He passed up 3. I think his teammates have a ton of confidence in him. We as a coaching staff have a ton of confidence. He needs gentle reminders sometime to keep shooting. And particularly, look, the type of shots that he gets, whether that's a corner 3 or a pick and pop versus a 5, they're open shots. We're not going to get a better shot. He has to be willing to unload the clip every night.
JJ, I know you kind of already touched on it, but it felt like they were really making a point to get the big 3, the ball out of their hands and into everyone else's hands, and you could tell that kind of by their field goal attempts. How did you feel like you guys handled that, and is this kind of like a reference point for the playoffs when you're playing teams that are probably going to try and do the same thing? Yeah,
I think, Houston, they have the personnel to do that. Our 3 guys that are our primary creators and shot takers, I thought just did a good job of being patient and taking what was there. And if they wanted the ball to find Gabe and Dorian, I think those guys responded well. They shot 12 for 24 from 3. Again, it's just the willingness to take shots. And it wasn't just the 2 of them. Rui missed 5 threes that were open. We generated good stuff. It was very obvious that they were trying to take away Jackson's roles. They were loading to Bron. They were loading to AR. They were trying to not allow us to score in the paint. And then with their 5s, they never went to a switch. They never went to a red. So it was just all pick and pop. And again, we want those guys taking those shots if they're there.
You mentioned pregame that tonight could be a significant step in terms of building the playoff mentality, this team's playoff mentality. How much of a step do you view that from tonight? And not just tonight, but also the Memphis win as well?
Yeah, I think if you lose those 2 games as reference points, it's a great example of how different games can be game to game. And in a playoff series, each game is its own thing because teams adjust and they decide what they're willing to live with, what they're trying to take away. I think particularly on the defensive end, the emphasis was on every possession and really valuing that. I think for the most part we did that. And that, to me, is what you have to do in the playoff series. Offensively, the game plan that a team is going to throw at you is different night to night. And I thought, again, our guys' just willingness to pass to each other, and the guys that were open took open shots.
JJ, in games of this magnitude, how important is it to have guys starting their roles like Doe and Gabe did tonight?
Well, I think it's not just in games of this magnitude. It's if you want to be a good basketball team, you need guys to star in their roles. And it goes back to the thing I've said a couple times, which is on bad teams, players reject their roles. On good teams, players accept their roles. On great teams, players embrace their roles. And we've had a number of guys that aren't the big three or whatever moniker you want to give AR, Luka, and Bron. But we have a number of guys on our team that have fully embraced their roles, and it's been the difference in our season.